after one of the craziest weeks in this country's history, the votes have been tallied. The results are in. The American people have spoken. The Slightly Biased Podcast duo has been ranked the number one picking duo in NFL history. That's right. By the American people, for the American people. I thank you guys very much. We're well on our way to 100 million subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button. Leave a like, leave a comment, all of that good stuff. Week 9, NFL picks about to happen, and I'm not here to play any games. This is very, very, very serious stuff. I'm not joking around. If you guys have been following us for any extended period of time, you've been watching our pick videos, you've been betting alongside with us, you're probably a very rich man right now. We have made more millionaires than the lottery has. We're a lot like Jay-Z in that way. So here we go. Brett's not here. I have his picks. Let's get into business. Let's get right down to business. Okay, here we go. We have the Falcons and the Broncos. The Falcons obviously coming off of a nice, impressive win against the Panthers on Thursday Night Football last week. They've looked a lot better the last few weeks. They have looked a lot better defensively, mainly. The Broncos, fresh off of one of the craziest wins you've ever seen. Is Drew Lock good? I don't know. Are the Broncos good? I don't know. I have no idea what to think about this team. But let me just say this. Atlanta sports fans. Georgians, all of the sports heartbreak, all of the epic collapses, the total embarrassments, the utter disappointment, all of that negative energy has been built up over these years and has been unleashed the past week. I'm so happy for you guys. It was all worth it. And because of that, Falcons by 100. Next game up, we have the Seahawks and the Bills in Buffalo. This is a pretty interesting game. I think if the Bills come out and look like they did early on in the season, they have a really good shot to win this game. But if their offense has looked like it has the past few weeks, I just struggle to imagine them keeping up with this Seahawks offense that has shown us throughout the season they can score on anybody, no matter how good the defense is. And we do know the Bills' defense has been disappointing as hell this year. They cannot stop the run. I don't think Chris Carson is playing, but still, we saw Carlos Hyde do pretty well. We saw DJ Dallas do pretty well on the ground. And obviously, when you have Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, you're going to find yourself in a lot of shootouts. And the Bills, again, if they look like they did early on, I think they have a shot. Josh Allen, if he plays like at the damn near MVP level he was early on in the season, I think the Bills have a shot, but he's been kind of on a downward trend lately. The Bills offense as a whole has been, but I'm not completely counting out on this game, but we are both going to select the Seahawks to win this one. Just think they're the better team right now. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears and the Tennessee Titans. If you follow the channel, it's no secret how I feel about this Bears team. I think that they are I just think that they're fluky, okay? That's it. I think, 5-3, if they lose this week, fall to 5-4, I think that's about where they are. So right now, I don't think they're that fluky. But when they are 5-1 and shit, complete and total fluke, okay? Complete and total fluke. The thing is this Titans team, we've seen how they play. They come out slow, and then they surge in the fourth quarter. That's kind of the exact same way the Bears have played, right? And we've seen the Bears, a lot of their wins have been coming back in the fourth quarter, looking like shit the first 3 quarters of the game, and then pulling something out of their ass at the end of the game. The thing is, this Titans team, the way that they play with Derrick Henry and their ability to run the ball, chew clock, death by 1,000 cuts type of offense, I think that that they have the recipe to sort of fight off or defend themselves against any lead when this Bears team comes surging back. I just think the Titans are a better team, and that's why we both have them selected. Next up, we have the Ravens and the Colts in Baltimore. Ravens against the Colts, I'm sorry. This is one of the more interesting games of the week, I think. The Ravens obviously have looked pretty disappointing the last few weeks, obviously coming off of a loss against the Steelers. Their offense looked bad, man, against the best defense in the NFL, in my opinion, the Steelers. And now they're going up against maybe the second best defense in the NFL, if not probably a top 3 defense in the NFL against Indianapolis. I don't know. I struggled to see the Ravens winning this game, honestly, just because their offense has been really, really disappointing. The Colts, I've been saying this about the Colts, is I want to see them start playing more complete games because it feels like you'd have one week where their defense would kind of carry them to victory and their offense kind of lagged behind. And then you'd have weeks where, they got in shootouts and their offense would carry them to victory. Last week, I think, was kind of the first time we saw their team play a full, complete game, and they looked really, really good. If they can come out and do that against the Ravens, I think that they win this game. If the Ravens look like how they're capable of looking, I think they could easily win this game. But again, it's like this is a really good Colts defense. If the Ravens offense comes out on this, we have to throw the ball to Lamar 30 times for no reason at all, then I think that they probably lose this game. I have the Colts. Brett has the Ravens. This is going to be a fun one. This is a good game right here. Next up, we have the Panthers and the Chiefs, I mean, come on, it's the Chiefs, right? The Panthers are losers of 3 straight. They're on a downward spiral a little bit. It's not like they've been getting blown out or anything, right? But they are losers of 3 straight. I think that their playoff hopes are kind of diminishing by the second. Christian McCaffrey does come back, which is nice. I think a lot of people thought that maybe their offense looked a little bit better without CMC. That's nonsense. I think that they kind of just got lucky. Mike Davis did look good though, but CMC is the best running back in the NFL, so he's going to come back and help this team out immediately. On the Chiefs side of things, they have 2 wins in a row, 2 giant blowouts in a row. Obviously, the Broncos, not a good team. The Jets, obviously, the worst team we've ever seen play the sport. But they've still looked really good. Their defense has come to life lately. They forced turnovers. They've even scored lately. The past 3 or 4 weeks, I think, they've had maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns defensively. And when you combine that with this unstoppable offense, I just don't think the Panthers have a shot here. Even though their defense has played a lot better than a lot of people expected this year, it's still the Chiefs. Next up, we have the Lions and the Vikings. Brett wanted me to specifically say that he's never picking the Lions again. Obviously, he picked them last week to beat the Colts, got burned by them. I am rocking with Detroit this week. Why? Detroit's just had a great week, man. They've just pulled through in a big way this week, so I think they pull through again on Sunday. Realistically speaking, I think the Vikings do probably win this game just because the Lions' run defense has been a little disappointing. And by disappointing, I mean bad. And the Vikings obviously have Dalvin Cook, who's looked amazing so far this year. I think he leads the league in rushing and has missed 2 games. Am I right in thinking that? I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. So, yeah, Brett has the Vikings just because he's picking against the Lions from here on out. I have the Lions just because Detroit come through in a big way. Next up, Giants and football team. 2 trash cans here, battle to see who the biggest trash can is. Now, this is actually a pretty big game for Washington because I really think they have a shot to win the division. I know everybody just assumes the Eagles are going to win this division. Not me. The Eagles are a trash can. Well, every team in the NFC East is a trash can, right? It's just a battle to see who the smallest trash can is. That's who's going to come out and make the playoffs. I think Washington football team has a chance here. Obviously, I think a lot of people think that this game is going to be really ugly because both these offenses are terrible. That is true. This game is going to be really ugly. But I think it has more to do with the fact that both these teams have really solid defenses, actually. And you combine that with both these teams having completely shit offenses, and it's going to be pretty ugly. But this is the NFC East, so I would not be surprised if this game miraculously ends in a 42-38 shootout somehow. But I just think the Washington defense is going to have Daniel Jones struggling quite a bit. I think they're probably going to have him in the torture cell, and I think that he's going to have a rough go of it. I don't think the Giants score enough points. I think that football team does pull this one out, even though the Giants' one win this season was against Washington a few weeks ago, but we both have Washington winning this game. Next up, we have the Texans and the Jaguars. Of course, if you remember, a few weeks ago, the Texans got their lone win of the season against the Jags in impressive fashion. I think that they beat the Jags yet again. Obviously, the Texans, both these teams are 1-6, right? But I think that they are pretty far away from one another as far as talent goes. The Jags have lost 6 in a row. Their defense kind of is what we thought it was going to look like, just absolutely horrific. Remember, going into the season, a lot of people thought this had the potential to be a historically bad defense. I don't think it's historically bad, but it is really, really bad. And Deshaun Watson, while they are 1-6, I think he's looked really, really impressive this year. I really like what I've seen out of Deshaun. Even without, obviously Will Fuller's a really, really good wide receiver, and Randall Cobb is a good wide receiver too. So it's not like he has no weapons, but he still looked really good, despite DeAndre Hopkins leaving the team. We both have the Texans here. They're just better than the Jags, and the Jags are trending downwards, and they're without Minshew. Next up, we have the Raiders and the Chargers, and I think what could be one of the more competitive games of the week here. The Raiders, obviously, they've won some impressive games this season. Some really impressive games this season, but they've also lost some disappointing games this season. I really liked what I saw from them against the Browns last week. They didn't steamroll the Browns or anything, but they came out a warm weather team in terrible, terrible weather, and they came out and they did what they had to do to win the game. That's what this Raiders team does, I think. But I also think this Raiders team is a team that's just going to trade wins and losses all year, on the way to 8-8, maybe 9-7 if they're lucky. That's just the way I view this team right now. I think that they're maybe 1 year away and a couple of key pieces away from really, really becoming players. And I do think they're close. So I'm going with the Chargers. Brett is going with the Raiders. The Chargers, man, 3-4 would obviously look a lot better for this team, and they should be 3-4. That loss last week was pathetically embarrassing. I don't know how they lose that game. This Chargers team is just allergic to winning. They have been for a very long time. We've seen that year in and year out. Whatever that year was where they had the number 1 defense and the number 1 offense, and they still didn't make the playoffs because this team just loves losing. Yeah. That's the way this team has been for a long time now. I don't know what it is there. Maybe it's the culture. I don't know. But I just think Herbert does pretty well against this shaky Steelers defense. The Steelers defense has been playing really solid as of late, though. So I don't know. Did I say Steelers? If I said Steelers, I meant to say Raiders. This Raiders defense has been playing really solid as of late. So this could be a tough one, man. I just going with the Chargers on a gut feeling more so than anything else. All right, next up we have the Dolphins and the Cardinals. This is a really solid game too. This is really the debut of Tua. I know he played last week, but he really didn't do anything. Like that was one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. The Dolphins just gave it to the Rams by pretty much doing nothing and letting Jared Goff lose the game by himself. Obviously, I don't think that they can do that against this Cardinals team. As you can see, Cardinals #1 offense by yardage. What does that rank? I do not have the Cardinals as the 19th ranked team. I don't know why that's the case. I think they're 9. Yeah, both of these rankings are wrong. I have the Dolphins at 13 and I have the Cardinals at 9. So just ignore those rankings. But I think this is going to be an interesting game. Battle of the two promising young quarterbacks and Tua and Kyler Murray. Can the Dolphins stop this offense? I do think they have the secondary to contain DeAndre Hopkins. I really do believe that. And Christian Kirk, who's been playing really well as of late as well. But ultimately, I don't know. I don't think I saw enough from Tua last week to think that he can hang if this gets into a shootout. It's not that I saw anything bad from him. He didn't look that impressive, but it's just I didn't see really anything. I mean, it's hard to base any type of opinion off of that game last week. I do have the Cardinals. Brett has the Cardinals. Again, for me, Arizona, I mean, just an amazing week, man. What a week for Arizonians. Arizonans, whatever they go by. I think that energy continues. Arizona win by 100. Next up, we have the... Do I have to say anything? I do? Oh, okay. Cowboys and the Steelers. Yeah, you know, the Steelers should win this game by 1,000,000 points, and they probably do win this game by 1,000,000 points. You have who's starting for the Cowboys? You have Garrett Gilbert starting. So the third different Cowboys starter of the last 3 weeks, the fourth different Cowboys starting quarterback of the season so far, and I think he's scared. I think he's shaking in his boots. I think his family is worried and concerned about him. I'm worried and concerned about him. I think we should all have Garrett Gilbert in our thoughts and prayers tonight because he's going to be in hell tomorrow. Okay. That was a little too much. But the Steelers defense is just going to have their way with this offense, man. You have a young, inexperienced backup to the backup quarterback here in Garrett Gilbert. And I just think that this pass rush is going to take advantage of this beaten to hell offensive line. They're going to get to Garrett Gilbert. He's going to throw interceptions. He's going to fumble. I think the questions really are, you know, is he going to fumble the ball 7 times or is he going to fumble the ball 3 times? Is Garrett Gilbert going to throw 6 interceptions or is he going to throw 3? Those are the questions we should be asking instead of whether or not the Steelers are going to win or lose, right? It's like, are Cowboys fans going to jump off of I-75 overpass or not? Those are the questions we need to be asking. How terrible is this Cowboys team going to look? And defensively, the Cowboys just don't have the weapons, the personnel to stop Juju, to stop Deontay Johnson, to stop Chase Claypool, to stop Eric Ebron, to stop James Conner, to stop Big Ben, and to stop James Washington even. So this shouldn't be close. What is the spread of this game? What is it? 14.5. That is how bad things have gotten, man. Wow, 14.5. You know, I could actually see the Cowboys maybe covering this. I think, have the Cowboys not covered the spread at all this season? I think I remember seeing that. I don't know. The Cowboys just terrible. Zeke is hurt too. The one lone bright spot of the team, right? Oh, wait, Zeke's actually been terrible? Maybe we'll see Tony Pollard have a great game. Maybe. What happens then, Cowboys fans? If Tony Pollard comes out and looks amazing, what? What are we going to say to ourselves? I think we'd have to take a good long look in the mirror and really ask ourselves why we're here. All right, Steelers by 55 points. Next up, we have Sunday Night Football. Ooh, one of the better games of the week. Probably the best game of the week. One of the better games of the season, probably. That is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New Orleans Saints in Tampa. Obviously, the Saints won this matchup week 1, but that was week 1, man. That was Tom Brady's first game as a Buccaneer. That was Gronk's first game as a Buccaneer. That was the start of a new era, essentially. And even then, the Bucs really didn't look that bad, even though Tom Brady had a bad game, threw a pick 6, all that stuff. I think you can make the argument that the Bucs are the best team in the NFL right now, at least the most well-rounded team in the NFL right now. I would probably make that argument. I think Brett wanted me to say that he thinks that this Bucs team is the best team in the NFL. Again, they have a case, but then again, you could say almost the same thing about the Saints, that they're one of the more well-rounded teams in the league, despite the fact that their defense has been a little disappointing, even though it's looked really good the last few weeks, and despite the fact that their offense, you know, Drew Brees hasn't looked all that great this year, but Michael Thomas is finally coming back all the way since back in week 1. It's been since week 1 against this Buccaneers team since Michael Thomas has played. But the Bucs are getting Antonio Brown. I think Antonio Brown actually has a monster day today. Or, I'm sorry, Sunday. I really do. I think he has a monster game. I think that this is going to be no in between. I think he's either going to do nothing or he's going to have 3 touchdowns. I really do believe that. And I think that he's going to have a big game. Chris Godwin's going to be back as well. What injury is he going to suffer from tomorrow, right? That's the question we should be asking. Obviously, you don't want to root for injuries, and I'm not rooting for injuries. I love Chris Godwin. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL. But he's had like 4 different injuries this year. So we'll see. This is going to be a really good game. I think we both have the Bucs here. We do both have the Bucs. It's going to be tough, but I just think this Bucs defense right now is playing at an unreal level. Obviously, I do think they have the secondary and the pieces and the personnel to stop Michael Thomas. Obviously, they have one of the best run defenses in the NFL, so I think that they can maybe contain Alvin Kamara. They have one of the fastest linebacking cores in the NFL, so I do think that they can contain Alvin Kamara. Can they get pressure on Drew Brees? I think they can. And offensively, can they score enough points? I also think they can. So I have the Buccaneers here. This game will tell us a lot about the Saints, to be honest with you. Next up, Monday Night Football. We have, oh, God. This game right here, man. This game right here. Trash. It's trash. Game's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Obviously, 9 weeks in the season, we know this game is terrible. But even before the season started, why is this on prime time? Why is this on Monday Night Football? Patriots in the Jets. This game fucking sucks, man. Patriots, obviously, right? Even though the Patriots look terrible. If the Patriots lose, and you know what the thing is the Patriots, even when they were good, they would have at least once a year, right? Or they would lose to a terrible divisional team. Usually it's the Dolphins. Could it be the Jets this year? Could it be if Cam loses? I can't imagine Boston. I can't imagine Boston sports fans if this week Trump loses the election and Boston and the Patriots lose to the Jets. Oh, that city might go. That city might go into the harbor. Obviously, the Jets are terrible, though. Sam Darnold not playing. Joe Flacco yet again. Patriots will win this game, right? What even is the spread of this one? 9.5. Wow. So the Cowboys have a worse spread than the Jets. What a terrible, terrible season. But a great week, right, guys? All right, that's all we got for you guys. Again, best pickers in recorded history. So go ahead and take a second mortgage out on your home. Call up your bookie. Tell them Slightly Biased sent you, and you're going to become a very, very rich person. I promise you that. Okay, actually, don't do that. Don't do anything I just said. Don't do anything I just said, please. Okay, yeah, that's it. God bless the USA, man. God bless the USA.